Joining us now with a look at how the Fed is likely to view the CPI report, former Kansas City Fed President Esther George. Esther, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to see you.
What do you think the Fed? What do you think we're just talking about what the Fed opens with in terms of the size of the cut? What's your hunch?
So, Melissa, I think today's report, certainly good news. They want to continue to see disinflation continuing. I am not in the camp of thinking that a large cut in September is where they might land. Now, again, we'll see more data before their meeting, which may provide another for them. But this report, while good, still shows we have elevated inflation, and I think an economy that has been pretty resilient. So it gives them time to really think about how they calibrate.
How should we think about inflation and where it stands now? If they go with 25 basis points as an opener in September, do you think that we're going to get to 2%, or should we assume that maybe the end point could actually be higher, or that the long and variable lags will continue to work its way through and we will eventually get to 2%?
Well, I think the Fed's been pretty clear that they intend to get to 2%. I think they must do that because that is their stated target. The ability to anchor their inflation expectations really depends on doing that. So the question is really, how bumpy is the path to getting there? And everyone has gotten caught up in hoping that this is a soft landing story, and that may still very well be the case. But it does complicate for them really thinking about the speed, the time to that destination, even as they contemplate, and I suspect they are contemplating when the right time to cut is.
Esther, would you think that the Fed believes it can get to where it's going even by cutting rates? In other words, how much belief do you have in how restrictive the Fed would be even if it took 100 basis points off of the funds rate here?
Well, this is always the big question, Steve, isn't it?
That's the ones I ask.
Yep. Because we don't know exactly where the equilibrium is in the economy. We estimate where we think that end state is, but I think, as you've heard the Fed chairman say, when he talks about looking at the totality of the data, when he talks about trying to figure out where the balance of risk is, it is really trying to sense from the economy, both the backward-looking data for the trends, but also in the anecdotal information they're getting, just how restrictive they are and how much they're going to need to move. And so I think that's going to be the important conversation in September, maybe less about starting the cuts and more about what is the destination.
Esther, did you miss planning Jackson Hole this year?
Did I what?
Did you miss planning Jackson Hole this year?
I did not miss that. It's a terrific conference, and I look forward to seeing what comes out of that meeting.